Hello everybody, this is Mark Olson, our aquarist, and this is Austin Countryman, our new Education AmeriCorps, and they're going to give us a tour today of some of our aquarium critters.
Well, we're really pleased to be able to give you a tour of our new touch tank, which was made largely possible by the efforts of many of you Padilla Bay Foundation members. So we really appreciate you making this dream come true. It's been a dream of ours to have this for over 10 years, so it's really wonderful. We're going to give you a quick tour. We're going to start with one of our more elusive little critters here, and hopefully we can get a nice enough view of her because she is a female octopus and she is guarding eggs and hopefully not going to bite me with her beak. So I'm just trying to see if I can get her to come out in the open a little bit. Can you see her there, Annie?
I can see her pretty well, and you had an interesting story about this little octopus and the reason why we have to line it with weather stripping and Velcro, and also way down the top of this tank.
Yeah, so normally we have a top on this tank, and even on top of the acrylic top we have some weights, because this little octopus, this little East Pacific red octopus, wanted to try to escape one day. So she actually got out of the tank. I came back here on a Saturday morning and she was slithering across our tiles. So that's not a real desirable thing. They can only last about 15 minutes out of water. So luckily she was fine, but she's just guarding some eggs, and she's also jetting water at me when I do a little stimulation. Here she goes. Little color change there.
What does red mean?
Probably irritated, you know. When it seems like when they're beige, that's when they're at their most calm. This little beautiful bouquet of flowers is actually a bunch of feather duster worms. Really kind of beautiful, considering they're just worms. We will feed these is plankton, and we feed them very small frozen copepods. So those feather dusters are trying to catch things going through the water.
Yeah, so moving on from this tank into the tanks over here. So these are a huge hit with the kids. We had a couple of kids groups coming through today, and it was super cute just seeing them stand here and putting their little fingers on. We had one little girl, which I'm sure you guys will get to see the video of, when she put her fingers on it and then whoop, went away just like that. It was super cute. But we got a whole bunch of different anemones all around here. We've got the swimming one right here, the Christmas or the painted anemones, and then we've got the burrowing one.
What happens, Austin, when you put your two fingers on that anemone?
Is it grabbing you, Austin?
It's grabbing me, yeah. It's feeling really sticky, and I can feel it trying to suction me in. And that's actually how these guys eat, is there'll be water that'll be moved by, and then this kind of stickiness that will cause a lot of the different critters to come in, and then they'll feed using their stomach.
So if your fingers were a little fish,
I'd be toast right now. So we've got a lot of different sea stars coming through here. Sea stars are my personal favorite marine creatures. We've got the leather stars right here. My personal yeah, Mark's got a great one right
We've
there.
got two of them here, but this one, hold that one up, Austin,
Yeah.
because you can see that this one's a little different. They normally have only 5 arms are raised, and this one has 6. So
Yeah,
a little
pretty cool.
little genetic variant there.
Yeah, and we want to make sure that we keep these leather stars away from that tank. Because you might have guessed it, the leather star's favorite thing to eat is actually anemones.
Oh,
So we want to make sure we keep all our anemones in one piece, so we've got a whole separate variety in this little area.
Which one is this, Austin?
This one's called the mottled star right here.
And it's
really
doing something
pretty.
kind of strange right now.
Yeah, not totally sure what's going on there.
It's
suctioned in
It's
a little
eating
bit
a
there.
little kelp.
Oh, do they eat kelp often?
It's not one thing I've seen often, Annie. Normally, you'll see the remnants of what they've been eating in here, and that's a lot of clams and oysters and such.
Yeah.
But that one decided a little vegetarian diet was appropriate for today. What's this relative here, Austin?
Whoa, look at that. It looks like a sea cucumber to me.
Yep.
Super cool. Definitely one of our favorite echinoderms here in the tank here. It's kind of funny. A lot of people look at this and be like, man, that must be super spiky. But you feel it, and it's actually relatively smooth and kind of sticky. It's definitely definitely classic. I always like to make the joke that we can pickle these, of course.
And Mark, you mentioned that they're relatives. So how are all these relatives?
So these echinoderms are all spiny, rough-skinned, right? So we can see a lot of similarities and a lot of differences as well. Whereas, like Austin was pointing out, the spines on the sea cucumber are pretty rubbery and malleable. These guys have harder spines. They all have tube feet. So let's see, is our purple guy holding on to most of the rocks from the bottom of the tank.
Oh,
so the
wow.
tube feet have suction cups on them. They are radially symmetrical.
What does that mean?
That's a good question. So if we were to cut the sea cucumber open, which we're not going to do obviously, and lay it out, there are 5 symmetrical muscle strips. So it's kind of an identical splay out there. Here's one of my favorites, if I can get him off. That's a beautiful critter,
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, that's very cool.
isn't it? Red urchin.
It's interesting to see the tube feet are all sucked in now. Usually we see it in the water, all the tube feet are kind of coming out and extending, and the sea urchin's really kind of moving about, but it's cool to see it kind of sucked in there.
Is he putting his teeth out here a little bit? You see those 5 white teeth?
Yeah, I can see those.
So just the other day, we put in a big piece of kelp in here, and it's already devoured. So these guys go along with these 5 little teeth and just cruise along and eat the kelp.
Yeah, you
Very
can
cool.
see a little bit of the
Excellent.
bite marks here right on the kelp. You can see on that outside. Pretty cool. Kind of interesting thing to point out is if you go back to these sea stars, you can see this kind of white dot that's on the top of all of these. This is actually their water pores. So sea stars have this water vascular system, which is super cool. Well, the reason why I'm standing up right now is I've got bones in my body. And sea stars, of course, don't have bones. They actually use water pressure to push all of the water out, and that's why these tube feet can move. They have their certain amount of water pressure that actually allows them to do that. It's pretty cool, and then they maintain that pressure through this little water pore right here.
Oh, very cool.
I don't know if you can see a good shot of a grunt sculpin there, Andy.
Yeah, I'm seeing some really good shots of some grunt sculpin. Ooh, and it looks like they're in the barnacle as well.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool when they do that. You guys can see. Oh, they just came out of the barnacle. So as a defense mechanism, these grunt sculpins will actually imitate the acorn barnacles. They'll sometimes turn around and stick their little booty in the air, and it looks just like an acorn barnacle. It's super
Pretty
cool.
phenomenal, isn't it? So here's a sailfin sculpin. And these fish are all the same age. They're about 1.5 years old. But actually the starry flounders, the flatfish in here, we caught with the beach stain off of Bayview. They're the only ones that in here that haven't been raised from plankton of the fish. But the sailfin is really a beautiful fish. So we're kind of proud of these guys coming from, it's really nice to be able to catch fish that weren't part of the adult population. We're just taking out fish that, you know, of the thousands of fish the size that we were catching them as plankton larvae, you know, not many of them probably make it to adulthood, but they're really gorgeous. The grunt sculpins, like Austin said, are just so beautiful when they put themselves in the barnacles and hide. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, one last quick story about another one of my favorite critters right here, the starry flounder. Got a good shot of that guy right there. So this is, I think, one of my favorite critters just because of its camouflage. You can really see it's camouflaged into the benthic floor there, and also because of how it operates during development. So when these critters are first born, their eyes are on both sides of their head, just like a normal fish. But early on, one of their eyes will actually move on the left or right hand side, and then they'll be flat, just like they are now. But what I think is so cool is that it's 50-50, whether it's on the left-hand side or the right-hand side. So some of these are left-handed critters and some of them are right-handed, which I think is pretty cool. Definitely a little funky.
Oh, that's so cool. Well, thank you so much, Austin and Mark. This was a wonderful, wonderful tour. And I think this is just a wonderful asset to our education program, this touch tank.
It's been a real game changer for the whole aquarium. We have people that are coming back. We have people spending far more time back here. And we also have a red octopus over by Ann that's squirting water all over the floor.
Oh, nice. Well, thank you all. Bye.